Alright, so what I was going to say is basically what's happening is this. You know, like the Thomas Friedman, the New York Times columnist, wrote the book The World is Flat, and he talks about how everything's being leveled because of, you know, competition in foreign countries, and it's getting cheaper to make products and everything. And so there's been a leveling force in the world where the third world countries are kind of coming up, and the leading nations are sort of being pulled down a little bit. But it's a similar thing in the music industry where maybe you're not going to have those super wealthy, you know, artists like your Madonnas and your Michael Jacksons. But I mean, as far as artists who can make a lower middle class to middle class living and doing what they really love, the opportunity for that's endless at this point.
So what do you say to an artist then who, you know, for as long as I could remember, the whole deal for an artist was they wanted to get signed. You know, get me on a label, and then those guys will make all the magic happen. So if it's changing, what do you tell those guys now?
At this point, I don't really see many reasons to even sign with a record label. There's so many ways to get your music out there yourself. I mean, you can get on. You don't need a label to get on iTunes. Everyone can download your music from there. And I mean, unless you need the money to press up a bunch of CDs, which is, I don't think at this point very necessary.
So how much longer does the CD last?
I'd give the CD, my best guess is 3 to 5 years, and you'll no longer see CDs. I'm actually selling my entire CD collection now while it's still worth something. I've been selling it at record stores, and I mean, it's just, the thing about the CD, sonically, it's really nothing that fantastic. I mean, it's better than an MP3, but, you know, it's not great. It's not like vinyl. I mean, it's a tiny little package. It's nothing interesting to look at. It feels very disposable. People now, they just kind of rip them and throw them in a box. I mean, it seems like a waste of money to me at this point.
So what do you sell at a live show then?
I would sell download cards and vinyl with download cards. The vinyl is for like the real enthusiast who wants something nice to hold and have like a piece of art and a memento, and you know, the download card just to get them while they're there. So you don't have to like rely on them to go home and download it. Just, you make them make a commitment.
So how do you feel about artists giving away music for free then?
You know,
like
actually,
the kind of stuff Noise Trade does, or you know, whatever mechanism they use.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, because the other thing too is like you got to think of how you're making your money as an independent artist. It's not just, I mean, record sales is more of a promotional tool almost. I mean, the bread and butter of bands that survive at the, you know, at that level is touring and merch and learning how to, you know, and like selling those extra, like the special packages for the diehard fans that are, you know, like the deluxe package that comes with like the photo book and whatever other extras, T-shirt included.
So you're with Paste.
Yes.
Editorial staff at Paste. Been doing that for what, 5 years now?
Almost 6.
Almost 6 now.
5.5 years, I guess.
So what's the role of the press going forward? And and what would you tell an artist that? Oh, hold on. Okay, we got interrupted while this arrived. So now that we got that, we're back to it. By the way, we're sitting on the beach. Where are we?
Dominican Republic.
We're in the Dominican Republic here.
On Samana.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking rum out of a coconut, so you should really listen to me if you want to end up here.
Yeah. God bless America. Okay. So the role of the press, and what do you say to an indie artist that wants to get covered in Paste or that kind of thing?
Make great music. The role of the press, I think what's going to happen is, as you know, I was talking about the leveling in the music industry. As it becomes less and less expensive to make a record, more and more, you know, amateurs and, you know, people that just are doing it for fun, which is great, are making records, and those people can make great records. But there's just so much stuff out there because it's so much easier to make a record that I think the role of the media is to act as a filter for all this art that's being made, and to kind of help people, you know, have, I mean, of course it's all subjective, but to have a voice that says, you know, these are people that are pretty well educated about music and can at least hopefully describe things in a way so you might know if you like it and point you in the right direction.
Do you prefer to get CDs from artists or publicists
as much
download
as I
link
just,
good for you?
You know, I had been kind of particular till recently about CDs, just because it's easy to have them on hand, and I felt like a lot of times some of the secure online, sort of like the streaming sites and stuff, I didn't care for. It just seemed like kind of a hassle to have to log in for all those. But I think if someone can send you like a high quality download, I mean that's probably acceptable. But I think at this point I'd still send CDs, although I wouldn't send an art copy necessarily. I would just send something that's fairly cheap to manufacture, just so that people can have it on their desks. A lot of times people will pile up CDs on their desk and listen to them that way.
Is it worth paying a publicist to send it to you? Because publicists know how to get to you.
Yeah,
individual
I think
artists don't.
The publicists actually, I think you'll have a better chance because there's relationships that the publicists have with the magazines, and there's so much that that we're inundated with. Just stuff that gets sent to us. I mean, we get thousands and thousands of CDs a month, so we can't listen to all of it. And having the publicist, the certain people that you already kind of know their tastes and you maybe trust that they're going to work with good artists, and so you might move that to the top of the pile. And it doesn't guarantee you coverage, but it's just that getting your music to the top of the pile and actually getting it a spin. A publicist actually can really help.
And non-business related, it's what, March 2nd, 2009 right now?
Mm-hmm.
What are you listening to you really like? What's coming up that we should be excited about?
I really like the new Clem Snide, Manchester Orchestra I've been into lately. Lisa Hannigan, beautiful, beautiful voice. She's normally performs with Damien Rice, but has her own solo record out now. Those are the ones that are coming to mind right now. I'm sure there are many I'm forgetting that are great, but I'd start with those three.
Cool. And how's the coconut?
It's delicious.
All right, you rock, Steve. Okay.
One thing I also wanted to mention is that I mentioned that touring is so important to bands making a living, and with the way gas prices are going up, until we have like another, form of transportation that's less expensive or some other fuel source, it's going to get really, really difficult for bands to tour nationally, and it doesn't even make sense. So I think you're going to see a regionalism return to music like we haven't seen since the 50s. I mean, back when you had like regional pockets of sound and people kind of stayed in their area and they were big stars like in the southeast or in the northwest. And I mean, it makes sense because you don't have to waste money going so far from home all the time, and you can really work an area. And you come back frequently enough to where you really build up your fan base, and you could be almost like what a rock star would be nationally in your own area, and that's just as cool, and it's more economical.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And you too could be right here if you were on the Cayamo Cruise.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, that's like cruel at the end, isn't it?